Welcome. In front of me I have a DOOGEE DK10, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at this device. So let's just get straight into the Donkey Kong box right here, or maybe the Drift King. Anyway. Popping this relatively flashy looking box, a little bit of a magnetic action right here, and inside we get tempered glass just kind of loosely dropped in. Then we get the phone itself. I'm kind of curious if there is actually a protective layer. Oh yeah, there is actually. So you can see it right here. So there is like a cutout. This is actually a good design, so when I peel this off, I don't actually have to peel off the protective layer with it. There we go. It's also booted up. It's a button. There we go. Now under here we have some limited warranty. We got another plastic protector along with the tempered glass and the one that is already pre-applied. Then we get screen protector accessories so we can clean it off. Paperwork. And by the way, yep, there is a charger. So we got a cable for charging, Type-C to Type-C, and a pretty hefty brick for charging a device, which is 100 watts. No, actually 120 max, which if I can get the camera to focus, there we go, we can clearly see it right here. So, let's get this out of the way. I'm gonna lower down exposure just a little bit, as it is overblown. Anyway, getting this massive device in the hand, we have a 6.67 inch display, so it's a bit smaller considering the actual sheer size of this behemoth right here. Now the display right here is a AMOLED display running at 120 Hz refresh rate, with a resolution of 1080 by 2400, boasting a 71% screen to body ratio and about 400 pixels per inch. So the screen to body ratio, at least for a phone that was released in February 28th of 2024, seems to be on a lower side, as most devices nowadays come to like 90%. This is not even an 80, this is 71. And just to kind of compare it to some other device, let me quickly check something. So let me just quickly check out my screen size on my phone. So this is 6.4 inch display versus the 6.67. So not that much of a difference, yet you can kind of clearly see the size of these phones is just drastically different. Like one looks like, it's as though I'm basically looking at a comparison of like iPhone 5S versus like phones that we have nowadays. So this is not a small phone, this is an absolute unit. While it's not really giving you that much of a, for instance, screen real estate. So let's see if it makes up in any other way. Now, the front glass right here is a Cornell Gorilla Glass. Then if we move over to the cameras at the back, we have what looks to be a quad camera setup, surprisingly. So the main sensor here is a 50 megapixel f2.0 wide sensor. Then we've got a 16 megapixel f2.5 telephoto, 15 megapixel f2.2 123 degree ultra wide, and 64 megapixel f1.8 night vision. That's interesting, we get a night vision here. Okay. Now if we flip it to the front, we also have a 50 megapixel wide sensor f2.5. Now one thing that I want to point out, which is just an absolute dumb decision, like they've been like popping some dumbass pills right there. So we have enormous bezels right here for current standard, and yet DOOGEE decided to put the freaking camera as a hole punched in a display. Like there's not enough effing space all around. You could literally fit this somewhere here. Have you been snorting something that made you dumber as a design team? So yeah, this specifically the hole punched camera is just absolute idiotic design, considering there is enough space to put it somewhere on the side, like right here. But it's not. God knows why. Anyway, let's continue into the internals of this device. Hopefully they make up there. So the device comes with a Dimensity 8020 processor right here, and also 12 gigs of RAM with 512 gigs of storage. It also has a 5150 mAh battery with the 120 watt wired charging, and we also have support for 50 watts wireless charging. So this is pretty substantial. Let's see if I can find my little brick somewhere here. If it's gonna charge. Come on, anywhere. So I do have under the desk like charger, but the little, oh there we go, it is charging. But the actual marking for it did, you can kind of see, there we go, it stopped charging. The marking for it kind of disappeared, so I need to like just wiggle it around to find a point. But yeah, we do have wireless charging here as well. And check one last thing, which I haven't checked whatsoever, which is the price of this device. So on AliExpress, as this is the first place where I can actually buy it, it apparently costs about $500 US. Now that's a steep ask for a device that looks like it's been released half a decade ago, in terms of just the pure aesthetics. Now, in terms of internals, it does have pretty decently spec'd out device, so 120 Hz refresh rate on the screen, decent, really good charging speeds, wired and wireless. Good processor in here, sufficient amount of RAM, also starting with 512 gigs of storage. That's pretty freaking good. The cameras right here on paper seem to be decent, though keep in mind this is DOOGEE, so their like camera, you know, tuning in terms of the software is probably also going to be DOOGEE. So that might be hit or miss for some people. I can almost bet without even opening up the cameras that they will not come anywhere close to some flagships like Samsung. That's about everything. Now, taking a look at the design right here, we look to have some carbon fiber design at the back with aluminum around here, more metal right here, rubberized sides. So these are actually rubberized, giving you a more rigid device, more tough one. So when you drop it, it should not be dinged up too much. Now, one thing that I want to point out when it comes down to rugged devices, I could be probably one of the not very many people that think that, but I find rugged devices to be absolutely stupid as a design, considering usually they cost more for no reason. And when you damage a rugged device, when it just gets kind of like dinged up and it's not fun to hold anymore from abuse over the time, you can just take off the case and swap it out. I could basically grab some absolutely chunky case for this, drop it, damage the case, have the phone protected in it, and then once that case is basically done, it just isn't good anymore, it's damaged too much, I can just pop it off and buy a new one. When you get a rugged device, you don't have that option. The case is the phone. So for me, usually those kind of don't make too much sense. They might have some appeal to some people, I assume, but if you think logically about it, that you're paying more for something that offers you less, it just starts to make less sense. So just kind of wanted to point it out in this specific perspective. But anyway, that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.